This is the Ourvoice 360 podcast, our perspectives, our way, keeping you in the know while you're on the go. This podcast was created with you in mind. On Ourvoice 360, we'll give you inspiration, sports, business and leadership tips, Black history, and entertainment. This is a show built from our perspectives. So if you're ready to be entertained, inspired, laugh a little, be informed, and enlightened, tune in now to Ourvoice 360. Let's go! Hey guys, and welcome to our show, Ourvoice 360, our perspectives, our way. I'm your man, Chad Bumgarner, 1/3 of the trio. I have with me my man, Pete Hunt.
Good family.
And my man, Mike Brown, the Don Dada.
Blessings.
And with that, we're going to flip the script today because it's a very important matter that we feel we need to get off our chest. So let's just go ahead and get right into it. Today is it's very frustrating, very sad, and I hate to say it, but it was kind of expected. We want to pay our respects to Breonna Taylor and her family. We sure did wish and pray for a better outcome than what she got, because she deserves so much more than the results that transpired yesterday. For those of you who don't know, no justice was served for Breonna Taylor. If any justice was served, it was for her actual neighbors.
Yeah.
The cop that was brought on charges had nothing to do with her death or even them killing her, but had everything to do with them, quote unquote, I don't want to quote anybody, but basically shooting recklessly and firing bullets into the apartment next to her, all the while killing her while she slept. So even though there was a police officer that killed her, no one's being held accountable for her death, because it's been said or stated that because they as in the police were returning fire, because the first shot allegedly was from the boyfriend in the house, because he didn't hear anyone state who they were. He just saw the door come off the hinges. Even before that, he was yelling at the top of his lungs, allegedly, "Who is it? Who is it?" And allegedly nobody responded. But then the doors come up, blow off the hinges. He fires the first shot in self-defense. And let's be clear, Kentucky is a right to carry state. So he was well within his rights to protect himself. But because he shot first, allegedly, and allegedly the cops returned fire, she as in Breonna Taylor, got caught in the crossfire and was killed. But because of the way the actions transpired, meaning the boyfriend shot first allegedly, and then the cops responded in fire, they followed the law, and all charges were dropped.
But the law.
So basically, what they're saying is her black life is meaningless, or at best, worth 12 million. Because I knew something wasn't right. Because normally, and I saw this video from Plies. Plies said, and I'm just paraphrasing, I'm not quoting him, but basically to the effect that, isn't it funny, like most of the times when situations like this happen, the settlement is sealed. You don't get the
number
chance to know what the number is. They settled out of court for undisclosed amount or whatever that cannot be revealed. This time, a week before yesterday, she got the payout of 12 million. So that was red flag number one. Number two, the mayor or the governor, whoever, ordered a state of emergency for the hearing.
Oh, they already knew.
See, they are, and that's what I was getting to. They already knew. And my spidey senses was tingling on this. This don't seem right. Don't get your hopes up. And to no avail, no charges. So I want to bring in Pete and Mike, because I could, man, I could go on and on, but I don't want to. I want everybody to chime in on this.
Go ahead, brother Mike.
Honestly, it hurt me, like, but it was, like you guys said, it was expected. But that thing really hurt me when I heard that yesterday. The law is favorable, but to who?
The officers.
Because I'm gonna tell you like this: I am armed, and if you kick my door in, I will shoot. Anybody in their right mind is gonna shoot.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just like whenever you hear the news and they're talking about it, they're quick to say the boyfriend had a gun and fired back and shot the first shot. You know what I'm saying? But they don't say anything about them not announcing themselves, just kicking the door in.
Well, now, of course, the cops are saying that they announced themselves, but only one witness in that whole little area that they live in said they heard the cops announce themselves. Everybody else said they didn't hear anything. Matter of fact, they all woke up to gunshots.
Yeah. Go ahead, Pete.
The anger that I feel right now is really, really, really high. Because first of all, I'm a black man before anything else.
Mm-hmm.
When Priscilla gave birth to me, she gave birth to a black man before anything. Before I was a name, before she gave me a force and Priscilla gave me a name, I was a black man. And as a black man, to see one of our queens get killed in her sleep, and like we about before, we pretty much knew that this was not going to be in the favor of the Taylor family, of Breonna Taylor and her family and her boyfriend. We already knew that from jump. First of all, it took you this long, basically public pressure to even take this to the grand jury. That was basically public pressure, because the Attorney General of Kentucky, and we'll talk about him a little later, was not going to bring this up. He was not going to bring charges against those officers or even take it to the grand jury if it wasn't for the public pressure and the outcry of people saying, in defense of Breonna.
Pressure.
Yeah. And in the case of Breonna Taylor, I'm just floored by how, as black people, how we're treated by so-called police. They're supposed to protect and serve who? Not us. I mean, because your existence starts from slave patrols. That's your existence as a police department. It started as slave patrols and just progressed into what we see as the police now. That's why they have such a hatred towards us as a people when it comes to policing. And what's the sad thing about it is, not only does she not receive justice, it's, as a people, we are all saddened because of this, and this happens all the time. Yeah. Our anger never stops. We are never allowed to exhale, to breathe, especially in situations like this, because we already know the outcome. I would not be shocked if what's his name, the officer in Minnesota, Chavis, whatever his name is. I would not be shocked if those officers get off. If they have a verdict tomorrow in that case with George Floyd, and I know we're talking about Breonna Taylor, but if they have a verdict in that tomorrow, guess what? My first thought is they're going to be found not guilty.
Oh yeah,
so that's just what it is, because they can murder our people in broad daylight, and get away with it. It's happened countless of times. But what was it last week when a white man in Tulsa, Oklahoma, they pull him over, cops pull him over.
Oh yeah, they was begging him to get out the car.
He has a suspended license. They're talking and pleading,
if not longer.
Yeah, they're pleading. Yeah, fighting and pleading with him to get out the car. He like, nah, I'm not getting out the car. Guess what? He scuffles with them, kills one of the officers, badly injures the other. Guess what? They take him in healthy,
safe
and alive.
Yeah.
He killed the police. Killed them. Injured one severely.
And you don't hear anything about that on the news.
Nope. You're not going to.
Nope. Not exactly, Mike. You're not going to. It's just it's hard to go through this every single time because, like I said earlier, we as a people we are not able to decompress our emotions.
Yeah, we don't have time to grieve.
We don't have time to grieve. We don't have time because guess what? They just killed another one of our people.
Yep.
They just killed another brother. They just killed another sister. So for me, it's a travesty, and it's just all we ask for is just to respect us as a people. Respect us as you respect the white folk.
Well, see, that's the problem. We have what I like to call conditional respect. We have the respect when it comes to entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
We have the respect when it comes to sports.
Mm-hmm.
Anything in that area or arena, we have that respect. But when it comes to us being lawyers or doctors or scientists or anything of that matter, our credentials are immediately questioned.
Mm-hmm.
It's like my mother used to tell me when I was growing up, when I went to school, job interviews, everything. You know, you damn near got to be perfect in order to be just about equal with them. We're not allowed or afforded the opportunity to make mistakes. We got to be perfect in everything we do, how we do, what we do, and where we do it.
Yep.
It's like we're always in a fish tank, if you will. So we have to always be on our guard. We have to always be presentable. We have to always remember who and what we represent. And it's like I tell people all the time, especially in corporate America, it's so hard, especially if you're one of few in a corporate American environment. It's so hard to go in as a black person and just be you. For some unfair and ungodly reason, you represent the entire black race. And that's not fair. We are not a monolithic people. You can't look at how I act, how I talk, what I think, and expect, oh, that's all of them. That's not fair to all black people, and doggone sure ain't fair to me as a person. But yet and still, we have to do that.
It's funny that you say that, Chad, about corporate America. I'm not sure if you guys saw the article. I think it was Monday that the CEO of Wells Fargo. Did you see that?
That was going to be in my news segment today.
Okay. That CEO of Wells Fargo said that the reason why there's no black, people in upper management, this, that, and the third, because there are no black people.
There's a limited talent pool.
There's a limited talent pool of black people at Wells Fargo.
I guess so, when you're pulling from a different pool.
And my first thought was, whose fault is that? If you have a limited pool of black people, that means you don't have a lot of black people working for you.
Not only that, Pete, but my thing is, since you're talking about a limited pool, it's just like the basic elements of fishing. If you out fishing and the fish ain't biting over here,
go somewhere else.
You got to go somewhere else. Now, there are hundreds of HBCUs that are teeming with talent.
Yep.
that's ready and willing and able to be brought in and groomed
Yeah.
for these positions.
Mhm.
But you're not looking there. I know one company that I used to work for. They would do the internships, but they would do them with the big schools. Now, of course, I'm down here in Fayetteville, Georgia, right outside of Atlanta. The company I worked for was downtown. Every year they would do internships, and they would recruit from Georgia Tech, Georgia State, University of Georgia, all the big schools.
Mhm.
And I'm like, why they not looking at Fort Valley? Why they not looking at Clark, Atlanta? Why
Right.
they not looking at Spelman or Morehouse,
Mhm.
Morris Brown when it was open or whatever? There's schools with a lot of talent and ability,
Yeah.
but it just depends on where you're looking. But I don't want to get too far off track with that. The Breonna case. There's so many empty holes in this case. If you listened to the lawyer for the boyfriend, he was saying that he read the reports and he was baffled because of the fact that the attorney general didn't want to release the records of the files, because he said, I
Mhm.
guarantee you, if you release it, you'll be just as baffled as I am. Because he was saying there
Mhm.
were a lot of holes.
Oh
Mhm.
yeah.
There were a lot of holes in that report. And the guy that they were looking for, the drug dealer, whatever,
Wasn't even on there.
right?
Yeah.
He hadn't been there months. My
Yeah. He
understanding.
was. Yeah. He was already in custody when
Yeah.
when yeah when they kicked Breonna Taylor's door in. They already knew that he was in custody. He was in custody. They had already had him. First of all, you were at the wrong address. That's not even an address you were supposed to be at. And second of all, you knew he was already in custody. So what were you really after?
I think they were after, and I don't know. That's why I'm saying I think. Well, let me say it like this. The boyfriend even said that those cops tried to get him to roll over on Brianna.
Yeah.
And he was like, "What for? She didn't do anything. That's not true. What you're saying is not true."
Hmm.
I guess they were thinking that she had information on the boyfriend. But if that's the case, why didn't you call her the next day and subpoena her or have her come down to the station for questioning?
Hmm.
And if you go into a single woman's house, why do you have a battering ram?
Why didn't you have a female?
It's just it's a lot of questions that not only this case but multiple cases when it comes to police interaction and our people. It's and it we again our lives don't matter. They really don't. We are expendable. We're expendable. I mean taking it back, and I do this quite a bit, but taking it back to slavery, what they do, they would kill one of us and put somebody else right in our place
Oh
Yes,
yeah.
ma'am.
because we're expendable. We're expendable people to them. So I mean, and they know they're gonna get off. They know they're gonna get off. But the Somalian officer in Minnesota, he didn't get off when he shot that white woman when he said he
Sure
feared for
did.
his life. He got 12 years.
He sure did.
Yeah, he got 12 years because he
Where
shot that
where
white
was
woman.
where was Blue
And,
Lives
and,
Matter?
and she got 20 million. And the family got 20 million and a settlement.
That's like
Where
when
was
it
Blue
comes
Lives Matter?
when
Where
when
was the
it
cops union for him?
yeah, right. When it comes to people that don't look like us, it's protect and serve. But when it comes to us, it's comply or die.
Mm,
And that's the
true.
God's honest
Wow.
truth.
Wow. Yeah, that's just there. Yeah, Mike, that's just real talk. And
Yeah,
I
it is.
saw some and I saw when you were speaking about Plies, Chad. He had another video yesterday talking about it might have been this morning. Excuse me, talking about, telling white police officers if you pull over a black person, call for backup. Call a black police officer for backup to deal with somebody black. Nah, that's not gonna work either.
Uh-uh.
I mean, what's the words Ice Cube said? Black police showing out for the white cop. We all know that song, NWA
Yeah.
song.
Yes, sir.
And
It's like a phrase I heard today that this lady said her mother used to tell her: "Of our same skin, but not of our kind."
mm-hmm. All skin folk ain't our
Ain't
kin folk.
kinfolk. That's right.
Yeah. And it's just it I had this conversation with my wife and talking about how do black police officers feel about stuff like this.
Yeah.
When your people are getting murdered by your
Your fellow man.
your fellow guys that you work with and guys that you're in the same fraternity. How do you feel as a black man or a black woman? You're a police officer and you see a Breonna Taylor, you see a George Floyd, or you know what I'm saying, and Philando Castile, Sandra Bland, Tamir Rice. How do you feel as a black person? Because you black before you the police.
Yeah.
You may not think you may not think so, but you a black man, black woman before the. How do you deal with that? I would really like to ask.
A lot of them won't come on the record and speak about it. I mean, they might talk to you in private in person, but and I kind of understand, because especially if you're trying to keep your job. But okay, if you're trying to keep your job, what are you doing on the inside to try to help change this? Because you got to know by now that you're looked upon as the police.
Yeah.
Not as a black man, but as the police.
Yeah. And that I'm just really intrigued what that answer would be, because I have multiple family members that's in that are police officers, and I mean, and one that was really high up in the police department, and I just wanted, how do you feel? How do you know? What is your mind state of, you seeing a brother or a sister getting murdered or their head kicked in and beat on and all this other stuff? How do you feel when you go to work the next day? You got to see that same officer
over and over
that did that to one of your people, or do you
turn a blind eye?
Turn a blind eye to the blue line?
Or do you justify it somehow, like, well, he deserved it, or he shouldn't have been running his mouth, or he should have complied, or
died? Telling
you, for everyone that you say he should have complied or he shouldn't have did this, I can show you our white counterparts that did the exact same thing,
if
and
not
they were
worse,
taken in alive. So now it goes back to not only racism, but it's just the fact that police in general feel like they can be lawless, and it's okay. But civilians, especially blacks, have to be lawful. They can be lawless, but we always have to be lawful. And
everybody
there's no
always
accountability. See, the thing is, if there was more accountability, here in Atlanta, cops are quitting and leaving in droves, and there's a concern. And my thing is, the reason for the exodus is because they realize that we no longer will tolerate them being lawless. You're not going to just come in and do anything you want, talk to us any kind of way, treat us any kind of way, and be okay with it. It's not going to happen.
Yeah,
so when a lot of cops like they don't have that power anymore, to me, a lot of them get scared and they want out instead of trying to work with the system and with the civilians and with the civilians and say, look, we need to do better at policing. We're willing to extend an olive branch if you will. And the defund the police, I don't agree with that. I do I do agree with it in the aspect of, instead of giving them millions and millions of dollars for weaponry, how about using that money to bring in more counselors, more psychiatrists, more people in the mental health department, because a lot of these people,
Well, that's what it means.
um,
That's what
that's what they need.
that's what defunding the police mean. A lot
Well,
of
we have
people,
to be clear about that, Pete, because some people think cutting their salaries and taking the money and
and
giving
and,
half.
and for those people, they just don't want to research and they just want to filibuster.
Right, but I want to make it
They-
clear on our show.
oh yeah, yeah, and that's what defunding the police is. It's basically take some of those funds. We're not saying get rid of the police department or yada yada yada, but spend some of those resources that you give to them to militarize
Right.
their certain police districts and put it towards like you said, mental health
Yeah.
and psychiatrists, psychologists, this, that, and the third. That's truly going to help the people, because every call is not a panic call.
Right.
Every
Or
call
dangerous.
is
Not
or a
dangerous,
dangerous
but
call.
yeah.
Yeah, every call is not a life or death call.
Right.
Just like what it was a couple of weeks ago, the black man called the police because of his brother. It was in Buffalo. It was in Buffalo because his brother, he didn't know his brother was acting crazy. He was running around outside and acting crazy, and I think he was naked. I think he had some kind of mental challenges, and he called the police. And guess what? The police get there and they put a bag over his head and nearly killed a man.
Yeah.
If
Oh
I'm
yeah,
not,
yeah, yeah.
if I,
Almost
yeah, if I'm,
suffocated.
yeah, I almost suffocated the man. And he just called them to say, okay, look, my brother is acting. He didn't have any weapons. He wasn't threatening nobody. He was just running around the neighborhood or running around the yard or whatever, having a mental breakdown. Something else I would like to bring up is Daniel Cameron, Attorney General of Kentucky. What I would really like to ask him is, at what point did you stop being a black man? We
Oh, no,
know
no,
you
no,
we know we know. Okay, go ahead.
No,
You
no,
took the oath.
because he responded. He said, "I hurt too as a black man."
No, you don't.
He said he could relate. He
No,
said he
you no,
understood pain.
no, you can't. No, you don't. No, because
But you can't count him, Pete, because he understands the pain.
Exactly, Chad. You are right. I do apologize to that. I do apologize to Daniel. I do apologize. But for real, I mean, at what point do you stand for your people? Because guess what? Them same folk that you fetching and stepping for, them same folk that you trying to get in a room with, them same folk that you kowtowing to,
They don't want you there.
is them same folk, if you even look at them cross-eyed, will put you out of that office.
Yes, sir.
Ask Omarosa.
Those same folk. So for me, I think he's a coward.
Yes.
He is a coward, and I'm not gonna say that other C word I really want to say. I want to keep it PC and clean.
Appreciate you.
Yeah. But yeah, he is definitely a coward, and like we said earlier, he's definitely one of those people that is our skin folk, but not our kin folk. Because at the end of the day, you had a real opportunity to stand up for your people.
You had
make a difference.
You had a great opportunity to stand up for your people, and you failed miserably. You failed miserably.
You had one job.
And I look, I don't care that you. I'm gonna let it go. Y'all go ahead, y'all, cause I was really about.
Go ahead, bro.
I was really about to go in. I was
Get
really about to
that
go.
Get
Nah,
my
y'all go ahead.
chest.
Go on in there, Pete.
You already at the door, kick it in.
Like they
No
did.
pun
Yeah, they
intended.
did.
No, but
Yeah.
it don't matter that you married to a white woman.
Is it?
Yeah.
It don't matter
It don't matter.
that you go to the country club and play golf with them. It don't matter that you try to rub elbows and be cozy because at the end of the day, they don't like you.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir.
They sitting in their offices today. We glad we had him send him out there because we didn't want to do it.
That's right.
Exactly. They
It's-
virtually
it's-
stood behind him with their arms folded
Yeah,
and
'cause
watched
you the
him do
token.
dirty work.
Because he the token.
And then when he came in the office, they patted him on the head. Good boy.
Good
Yeah, they
boy.
did.
You did good. You did. You seen what 45 said about him. Oh, he did a great job. He's a star. That what you want? Is that the adulation you want?
All money ain't good money.
If that's the adulation that you do want, Daniel, congratulations. You played yourself.
You got it. I just hope that you never fall from grace.
That's what I was about to say. The same thing. Because boy, when you got to come back around your people, you will not like it.
Cookouts will never be the same.
Even
You know-
if you're invited.
Yeah, if you're invited. You know, I think one thing when it comes to the police, you know how they always say I was in fear for my life. That's their go-to slogan.
That's they go to. Yeah.
Well, if you so much in fear, you in the wrong job, brother. A scared man with a gun ain't worth a damn. Excuse my language.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I have yet to see a black police officer or any other ethnicity be in fear for their life and start shooting white people. Except that one.
Just the one in Minnesota, he got 12 years.
Yeah, just yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
He got his time.
Yeah, he got a dozen.
Yeah.
Like Krispy Kreme donuts. Got a dozen of them.
Yep.
And it's crazy. And then, on top of that, the cop that they put in jail in Kentucky is bond $15,000.
Yeah, I saw that. That's not the
So,
Supreme grand
With a
jury.
bondsman, that's $1,500. That's $1,500.
But if it were us, the bond would have been set at a million or 500,000.
Oh, yeah.
Astronomical.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
get your bail is $50,000. Go out and mess up one of these statues out here.
Oh yeah,
Spray painted. That's $50,000. That's your bail.
yeah. At least.
Yeah, and it's just, I mean, it's just frustrating. It's just really extremely frustrating that, you know, when it comes to police brutality, when it comes to police killing our people, they are not held accountable
At all.
at all. They're not held accountable. And I mean, you know, and it boggles my mind, but it really doesn't, because like I said, we've been dealing with this since 1619. We've been dealing with this since we were brought to this land. And what the crazy thing is, yesterday was the same day, the 65-year anniversary of Emmett Till's murder.
Yeah.
Getting acquitted. So 65 years apart, you have Emmett Till being murdered unjustly by white people. 65 years later, the same exact day, you have Breonna Taylor's murderers acquitted.
Yeah, acquitted.
Of murder. I tell you.
And that's not just a coincidence, I don't think.
So I don't want this just to be a bashing session, which is it's warranted. You know what I'm saying? It's very warranted. But now, solution, because that's what we as a people have been looking for the longest.
Okay.
How do we right this wrong? How do we turn this ship around? With dealing with, let me be more specific, dealing with police brutality amongst our people. How do we turn this ship around?
Start going to your local polls, voting for your local government,
Mike,
city government, because those
nothing.
are the people that are affecting your life.
Mike, voting don't do anything. Don't you know they all connected? It don't matter what we do. Voting ain't gonna matter, man.
Let me tell you something. Yeah, it will. It will. When they get you to thinking voting don't matter, that's exactly what they want you to think. That way you don't vote at all.
And that's the
So
way a
then
lot
they
of us
really get to
woke
do what they
people,
want to do.
that's the way a lot of us woke people talk. Oh, voting don't matter. It does matter.
They not
But
woke. They sleep.
we focusing on the wrong thing. The president is a figurehead. When he signs bills into law or makes things quote unquote official, it's because it went through the legislative process, the House, Senate, so on and so forth. Then it gets to his or her desk. So what we need to be focused on, like what Mike said, your local area, the mayor, the governors, the DA, district judge, sheriffs, people who immediately affect how you're treated and disciplined within the court system.
Right.
That's what we're sleeping on. We so focused on the big position, but we're not focusing on the positions that immediately affect us in our neighborhoods. And those are the things that we need to hold in question. And I also believe that we need to start being more visible in these city council meetings.
Yeah.
See, they bank on us not being there. Now, when something happens, I'm telling you, city officials, no matter what city, something happens, black folks will show up for maybe the first 2, maybe 3 meetings. But the city officials know, all we got to do is just wait this out. It will roll over and we can move on because we're not consistent. We're not consistent. And that's why they don't respect us. We're not consistent.
And I'm guilty of that.
But
I also, I was thinking about that actually. I was thinking about that yesterday about becoming more active in my local government as far as being that face to scene.
Right.
I want you to fear me being there because they don't know what I'm going to say. You know what I'm saying? Oh, Lord, here come Mr. Brown, y'all. That's how I want them to feel. I want them to feel just as uncomfortable as we do when we get pulled over for some BS. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I mean, when it's to the point where you have to talk to your children before they leave the house on ways to make it back to the house, that's a problem. Now, if you don't get caught, if you get stopped, don't do this, don't do that.
Yeah, well, I mean, we've been doing that as a people for years. I mean, I remember that my daddy gave me that talk.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I mean,
There you got your license, huh?
Yeah, exactly. So
Oh,
I mean, yeah. So I mean, we as a people, we've been having that talk for a long time, and people don't understand that don't look like us. See, they don't understand that you don't have to have those talks with your kids. Because 9 times out of 10, your kid's gonna make it home.
Happy go lucky.
But as things that I love those ideas, chat. Voting, especially voting, we have to become more visible, not only in the city, but just in our neighborhoods. You know what I'm saying? Be more visible. Yeah, all of that.
Yes.
But yeah, it's just, and on their end, just respect us, because that's all we ask as a people. Just respect us as a people. Treat us like you would treat white folk. I like the T-shirt I saw the brother wear. It's been going around the internet for a little bit. The T-shirt, it's a black T-shirt, and it says, "Please, police, treat me like you would treat a white woman." And it's a black man wearing the T-shirt.
I seen one brother had on a black T-shirt with white lettering. It says, "I identify as a white male."
Yeah. So I mean, and we laugh and we pick about it, and it's actually funny, but it's sad.
Yeah,
it's funny, but it's sad that we would have to go to those lengths to just be respected. That's all we're asking. We're not asking for no handouts. We're not asking for anything other than just respect.
But you know what, Pete? Along with that respect, I want to throw in slice of white privilege. I think a lot of people, white people at large, don't understand white privilege. I seen one caption out on social media. Matter of fact, he was one of my classmates, a white counterpart, but he was saying that there was no uh, white privilege here. You know, my dad held down a 9 to 5, and he was a hustler on the side trying to make ends meet. You know, we worked blue collar jobs, we busted our butt. He said, so
That's
ain't
my
no
choice.
that ain't no white privilege over here. I
That ain't
said,
what we
clearly
talking
you're misunderstanding what white privilege is. I
about.
said, let me be clear. Let me give you a quick example. If
Mhm.
you walk into Valley Hills Mall and you, sir, have on sweatpants and a hoodie, I promise you, you will not be followed around that store. No matter what department you go to. Hello, sir. How you doing? If you need any help, let us know.
Nah,
They
he's
will,
a jogger. He's a
they
jogger.
will, they will let you have your free roam of the department store. Now, if I come in behind you in the same outfit you got on, it's funny because if you really listen, you'll hear certain codes being
Mhm.
said
On,
over the
on the,
intercom.
yeah.
And if
Mhm.
you look at what department you're in, code 24 in the men's department, code
Yeah.
24, code 24 in the jewelry department. Wherever you go, there
Yeah.
is a
Mhm.
code being
There's
said.
that code.
Stupid.
Mhm.
This is the ultimate of white privilege, sir. Has nothing to do with jobs and money
Mm-mm.
necessarily. It
Mm-mm.
has to do with if you get pulled over on the side of the road and you're drunk, you making it to the precinct is 100 times more likely than me,
Mhm.
Yeah.
alive
Unbruised. Unbruised.
and unbruised, alive.
Mhm. Mhm.
Couple examples of white privilege. Okay, not your fault, but it is what it is. So I need you
Mhm.
to understand what white privilege is.
Mhm.
Has
Mhm.
nothing to do with money a lot of times.
Yeah, you can kill the police and get taken to the precinct alive.
Yeah.
You can kill nine
And
black.
get dealt with respectively.
Yep.
Yeah.
You can kill nine black people in the church and get taken to Burger King.
Did
Mhm.
he not?
That's white
Got him a
privilege.
whopper.
No,
That's why.
and add to that, Pete. When he came out of the cop car, he was not handcuffed. He walked into the precinct on his own will. He was not held by the back or nothing.
But I'm gonna tell you like this. Check this out. If you look at the video, when they caught up with him, the cop put his hand on his gun, and then he took it off when he went to the door. He took his hand off his gun when he walked up to the door, knowing the boy just killed them people. Because he wasn't in fear. How are you not in fear of a murderer that you know is a murderer?
Because you got the call. You got your call. The call. He just shot nine people. You got the call.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I mean,
But you in fear of your life of a young black teenager in a hoodie, unarmed with some Skittles.
Yeah. I'm telling you, man.
or you kill a young woman in her house playing video games with her nephew.
Yeah.
Mm.
While you in the backyard with a flashlight,
Or
Uh,
you roll up
unannounced.
on a, or you roll up on a 12-year-old in a park with a toy gun, had a red tip on it, shows you it's a toy gun, and you murder him in cold blood.
12 years
Or,
old.
or you walk into the wrong apartment while a man is eating ice cream, and you say, "Oops, I thought it was my apartment. He broke in." Come on now.
Mm. Well, I mean, those are a few examples, but
Just a few.
yeah,
Just
just a few, just a few.
Just a few.
It's just the privilege thing is big. The privilege thing is big because I mean, like you said, Chad, you don't I mean you're so privileged that you don't even know what your privilege is.
right.
And I don't
Thank you.
care, and I don't care what socioeconomical level you're on. You can live in a bless you.
Thank
You can live in a
Bless
trailer
you, brother.
park.
you. And still have white privilege.
You still get that same privilege.
Yeah.
Because last time, let me tell you, and I'm just gonna end on this.
Go ahead, brother.
You remember back in the 80s in the crack epidemic, and they was locking black folk up left
Mm-hmm.
and right.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
sir.
You get more
Destroying the family.
you get more time for selling one crack rock than you get for selling a whole kilo a brick of cocaine. You get more time for selling one crack rock than a brick of cocaine. Where was crack at in the majority in the black community?
How to get there?
Yeah, the powdered cocaine is up there in the hills.
Yes, sir.
Out there in the plush communities. Okay, you 3 strikes and you're out. You get caught selling crack 3 times, you're going to prison for the rest of your life.
Yes, sir.
Powder, we don't care nothing about that. We'll slap you on the wrist. You get some probation, whatever. Then guess what happened about 10 years ago?
The meth.
Up in the Appalachians and the Rust Belt countries. I mean, Rust Belt states. Opioids and
yes, sir.
Crystal meth and all that. You ain't hear nothing about no 3 strikes.
No,
they need counseling. Yeah, they need counseling, and we just need to talk to them, and we don't need to we put them in rehab, and we don't. But what about when crack was popping? It was.
They told us it was by choice.
Yeah,
you chose to do that.
You get 5 years for one crack rock. But there we go. We talk about privilege.
But see, here's the thing that gets me. They quick to talk about our family structure being crippled, us being more prone to drugs and guns. But my thing is, if you live in a very rough part of town, in a bad neighborhood, right? So there's no jobs, no opportunity, no real food. It's a food desert. So all you got is corner stores with junk food and sodas, right? So there's high depression. There's very low minimum employment going on. How in the world do people like this get access to crack cocaine and guns? We don't have. If we can't get access to a decent education and jobs, how in the world do we get access to these drugs and guns? And nobody wants to look at that question. Well, now, a lot of these drugs come from overseas.
Well, that's Ronald Reagan. You can thank Ronald Reagan for that.
You know what I'm saying? We don't own trucks. We don't own boats. We don't own planes. How is this stuff getting into our neighborhoods and nobody else's neighborhood?
Okay, let me ask you this.
Nobody wants to look at that.
I'm gonna leave on this note. In any city, it doesn't matter. You can pick your city, your town, whatever. The black section is the most police section in your town. Why does it still have the most crime?
That's a good point.
Think about that.
So somebody ain't doing their job.
Or somebody is setting the people up to do the crime, then busting them for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I tell you, I just pray for these families that are going through situations like this, and I just pray that it stops. Yeah. It has to stop. It has to stop at some point, because there's something bubbling right now.
Oh yeah.
Mother Earth is not happy. You got hurricanes and floods everywhere, fires in California and all over the West Coast. Something is bubbling.
Corona epidemic.
Yeah, I'm Corona. It's something it's a change ready to come. I don't know what it is,
but it's coming.
Yeah, it's coming. It's coming. And 2020 has showed us. Get yourself together. Get yourself right.
Has it not?
Get yourself right now. Because whatever's coming, it's going to be big.
Yes, sir.
It's going to be big because, like I said, Mother Earth is telling us, with all this foolishness that's going on, that it's a real crucial time right now. Real crucial time right now, and I just hope that people take heed to what's going on. People take heed to what's going on. That's all I ask, and just respect us as a people.
Yeah.
Stop killing my brothers. Stop killing my sisters. And black men, protect our black women at all costs.
Oh yes, sir.
If you get nothing else from me today, black men, protect your black queens at all costs. I don't care if your girlfriend, your mama, your auntie, your little cousin, your sister. We have to protect our black women at this point, which is something we should be doing all the time, but we
And
have to
nobody
protect our
say,
queens. We have to protect our queens, man. We have to protect our queens because they're our backbone. They're our backbone. We are not in the place where we are as black people if it's not for our queens. If it's not for our black queens, man. I'm telling
yes,
you.
sir.
My thing, I just want us as a people to really start focusing on local elections
Mm-hmm.
and really pay attention to who your DA is, who your sheriff
Yeah.
is,
Yeah.
the judges, the district judges, everybody that's a part of your local court circuit, the DA, because these are the people that's making the laws. These are the people that's painting the narrative
That
Yep.
affect you immediately.
that affect us immediately. How long you stay in jail, what you in jail for,
Yeah.
your treatment when you get pulled over, all that stuff. So let's stop looking so much for the top gun, which is the president, and let's focus more on in your town, your specific town, wherever you live, your area, and really pay attention. Show up to these meetings and ask these questions and make them toe the line and make
Yep.
them tell you that to your face what they plan on doing for your community, because there's a huge financial gap, educational gap, you name it, there's a gap.
And
And the
don't
only way
just,
we gonna feel it. Go ahead, Mike.
I was going to say, it's, a lot of people, when they vote, they tend to vote and do things on the whatever political side or political party that they represent. Learn to do your homework on those people.
Mm-hmm.
Learn to do your homework. Just because it says they're a Democrat, they may not be saying and doing some things that's beneficial to you.
Vernon
Mhm.
Jones.
You know what I'm saying? Wow.
Mm.
But yeah, do your
I
homework.
don't care what party you vote for. My thing is nowadays, let me say that, because there are some Republicans that have the same ideas that we have, and we may be registered Democrats. So
Yep.
my thing is, you need to look at the person and their policies, and don't look at
Exactly.
what party they with.
Yeah,
Look,
that DNR. Yeah.
right. Look at what they stand for, what their values are, and go that route. It's okay to vote Republican here, Democrat there, or whatever the case. You ain't got to vote straight ticket. Them
Yeah.
days over. You don't have to do that.
Yeah.
Look at this person for who he or she is, and like Mike said, do your research. Do your research, and don't listen to nobody where they say it. No, go do your research.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Your research.
Get your unbiased opinion, the one that you figure out for yourself.
That's it. That's it. So, ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up our edition of Our Voice 360, Our Perspectives, Our Ways. We thank you for joining in, for listening, for viewing. As always, if you got any comments, please list them on the YouTube page, on our Facebook page, or send us an email at ourvoice360@gmail.com. Let us know what you think about these shows. Give us your opinions, your thoughts, your views. I mean, we would love to hear it. And we had to scrap our regular format today because this had to be done. We need to create awareness for not only our people, but for people that don't look like us. It's not a bashing to all white people. It's a call to action. It's a attention grabber. It's for you to wake up and see what's really going on. Remember, this show's tagline is Our Perspectives, Our Ways. We're giving you our perspective on how we see things that are going down in our neighborhood and with our people. And of course, it's going to be different than the way you see it because you are not us. But it's smart for you to listen and watch these videos so that you can understand the counterpart side.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Even if you don't agree, if you just take time to listen and try to understand where we're coming from, that's over half the battle for us and for all of our allies who don't look like us.
Yeah.
We appreciate you. We really do. And there may be some sacrifices that you might have to make on your behalf, on our behalf. It just depends on if you're up for the challenge. You might get ostracized by some of your friends or colleagues or family members. But at the end of the day, for us, it's what's right, what's godly. God loves all people. He doesn't discriminate. So why are we doing that? We're supposed to be, now for all my white folks out there that are riding with us that are supposed to be Christians. And if you read the good book, I know we're not supposed to get too churchy and preachy, but I'm just saying, you know, for you so-called Christians, you know, he teaches us to love one another. I'm just gonna leave it at that. So if you're on the other side and you're okay with what's happening to Breonna and all these other people, I don't know what kind of love you doing. But I'm pretty sure that ain't what the good book is expressing. But I'm gonna leave that alone. I'm not gonna harp on that. But fellas, anything else? I'm gonna wrap up and go into the Bible thought.
We appreciate you for listening, man. We appreciate you every single week. We appreciate you.
Yes, sir.
Shouts out to the George Floyd family, Breonna Taylor, and all the others who are still grieving for the injustice and the brutality of their loved one. And we're gonna wrap today's session with a Bible Bible verse, a thought for this week, and it's coming from Psalms 27, verse 13 and 14, and it reads, "I remain confident of this: I will see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. Wait for the Lord and be strong and take heart and wait, I say, for the Lord." There it is. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in to Ourvoice 360, our perspectives, our ways. Be blessed, be safe, and we're out.
Peace.
If you enjoyed this podcast, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel so you can be notified when a new show drops. Please rate and review this podcast and share it with your friends. Also, if you'd like to advertise or become a sponsor, please send an email to ourvoice360@gmail.com with your inquiry. We'll connect with you as soon as possible in hopes of creating a great partnership. And as always, thank you for tuning in to Ourvoice 360, our perspectives, our way, keeping you in the know while you're on the go. See you next week.